Solo. It's Jason Derulo riding solo. It's The Exchange on Gaydio with me, Annie Emery, here with Adam Byesouth and Brad Baker.
Hello.
And Brad, we're being quite gentle with you, aren't we?
Yeah. It's like a lovely little chat here. Feels like I've known you years.
I know. Feels like
maybe we have in other worlds.
Need a pint, maybe, or something.
Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
That'd help, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen, though. We can't even bring a water in, can we?
I had a cup of tea outside. It was like, well, I didn't know whether to take it personally because I'm renowned for knocking drinks over. In a TV interview I did in April, I actually knocked the glass over in the interview and just had to carry on.
Oh dear!
Because I'm very expressive when I talk.
Did it go over anyone's trousers, or was it just
all over the floor?
Oh, all over the floor. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So that's probably why, Brad. Can you please leave the tea outside? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, leave it outside. Just you, Brad. Yeah,
casual,
keeping it
I
cash.
think you've got to be comfortable in yourself first. I would have been terrified at 14 to think that my family would have thought I had those feelings for the same sex. But working in Spain, a woman called Jackie Staunton, God bless her, was on my estate, and she taught me the confidence to be myself. And being in Spain, it was a new environment for an 18-year-old, and I could try it out. So I bought this pink D&G watch, and I was, just to symbolise it.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I'm getting accepted here. I could get accepted back in the UK. And then when I came back, I told my family, and it was brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. And it's a liberating thing.
Yeah, it is.
Certainly is.
But you've got to be in the right zone. You can't force someone to come out. Like, you must come out now.
Yeah,
You've got to be ready.
Yeah. You've got to be ready for it yourself, absolutely. But what do you think they would do to help gay refugees? I mean, I think the fact that they're kind of coming out and being so, they're sort of opening their doors to refugees is a lot more than a lot of countries are doing, Brad. I mean, this is such a difficult thing, I think, to watch, and I think we see it so often on sort of a lot of us kind of connecting to social media, and you see all these kind of images and these desperate stories of kind of Syrian refugees trying to find solace, trying to find home, just trying to find somewhere to live, because there's nowhere for them to live at home, and you certainly see all sorts of stuff on social media about why people aren't opening their doors. How much of a statement, I guess, how much of a good thing is it that Canada's able to do this, do you think, and should they be being this sort of vocal about it? Do you think this will help it, other countries open their doors?
Canada's very good in many ways, with its economy, etc., etc. But for the Syrian refugees, I think with sexuality, that'll be the last thing on their mind. Just for a country to be like, in a country like Canada, it's going to be a great thing for them. I think after all of that, once they've settled in, then this sexuality business is going to be fantastic for them because it's a very open country. As well as that, I think it's a very, very good thing because when you hear the words culture shock, you always think of it in a negative way. It's going to be a culture shock. But this is going to be a culture shock for them in a very, very good way. Can finally ease themselves in. I don't think, personally, I imagine that the horrific stories that I read and what they're going through, it won't be an overnight thing. It'll be an ease on into that culture because honestly, some of the images that we're shown in the news of all of this is just horrendous. And I'm pleased for those 25,000 refugees. I just wish we could do more to help because we're all human. And, why should people be subjected to do this, do that, particularly with regards to sexuality, when they are no different from me, you, and the people of Canada. I think it's a great thing. I'm very pleased that Canada's done that. I'm shocked because they're not really one for mass immigration like that. It's a very good move. I'm pleased. Yeah.
I mean, do you think that it's such a shock factor these days?
Why should people make a big deal out of it? It's 2015. Only walking down from the train station this evening, I think it's a lovely thing to see same-sex couples holding hands.
Yeah, it is.
And my friend Gemma, she has recently came out lesbian. Now, we all had an inkling, you see, because it doesn't take a lot to be more masculine than me, but she is. And she was making a big deal about holding hands in public. I've always been this sort of person, if I want to do something, I'll do it. If it's harming no one else, I'm going to do it. I don't care about what people think or whatever. People shouldn't really be making a big deal about this. I think it's a great thing, and the people who are making a big deal out of it, they're creating the stigma. For instance, and it's not always people who are homophobic. This homophobia campaign, do you remember the I'm gay, get over it?
Yeah.
That attitude, I saw it on the, that's right, on the buzz billboards. it was in bold writing, almost like if it's the advert's going to talk to you, it's like, I'm gay, get over it. It's aggressive. That aggression will create that stigma. I'm gay. Why don't you take that approach? It's as if you are expecting a resistance.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
do it.
Yeah.
Don't make a big deal out of it, and don't be aggressive.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you kind of feel as though, because obviously that is there is going to be the people, the naysayers, as you say, Brad, the people that kind of are not happy about this, saying it's a terrible thing. You will get those sorts of people. Do you feel like that's moving in the right direction, though? Do you feel that people are less transphobic? Do you feel like, people are less likely to experience that transphobia?
It was so interesting. I was in a place called Warheath in the West Midlands with a few of my uncle's mates, a great crowd. And I was almost hiding my sexuality from them because they're a very masculine bunch. My uncle's in the construction industry. I thought, oh my goodness, so I was trying to hold back. Meanwhile, I went inside and one of my uncle's friends said to my uncle, your nephew's gay, isn't he? And then I came back and my uncle said, Del, his name is, has clocked it. And I thought, oh my goodness, that was my initial reaction. I thought, oh, what they're going to think. It was lovely. They all came out, shook my hand and says, in true black country style, "Yow am what you am." And I just thought that was great. And so even with people who you wouldn't expect to accept it, they are. They are, and it's a wonderful thing from all demographics.
Yeah,
it's not just exclusive to certain classes. It's all over the board. It's lovely.
Yeah. Brad, are you sort of surprised by this? It feels like, interestingly, there has been trans men, of course, that have, I think Thomas Beattie was a famous trans guy that actually conceived and had children because he'd got sort of equipment, if you will. He retained his uterus to be able to do that, transitioning from female to male. But obviously this is kind of a bit of a different kettle of fish, isn't it, really?
Annie, I think it's a wonderful thing. I only tweeted about this a few weeks ago. I put on Twitter, there was a programme on one of the terrestrial channels, My Transgender Kid.
Right, yeah.
And a story that really got me was there was this guy at school, and obviously I would coin this guy a hero for being so truthful to himself at the age of 4 years old, and being able to say to his parents what he really feels. Someone in his class put on the back of his blazer those little post-it notes, "loser." Now, actually, it's quite the opposite in my opinion, and I think only that programme with those heroic children, we're entering into such good times now, and I'm so glad I was born into this era. It's a lovely era to be in. I don't care what anyone says, and this story only echoes this, and I think it's fantastic for people to be themselves and to be able to live the life that they want to live.